Welcome to another episode of Big Brain MMA Podcast, episode 57, big pay-per-view card, UFC 285, John Jones returning. I'm your host, like usual, Big Steve. Got a special guest, Lucrative MMA, joining me. How are you, mate? Do you want to tell my small audience a little bit about you? I think you don't need too much of an introduction.
Yeah, bro, happy to be on. We've been speaking a little bit in the DMs. You hopped on my podcast a few weeks ago, which was a fun one. I had about 10 people on. You was one of them, and we broke a few fights down then. So yeah, man, just happy to be on. Thanks for inviting me. And I got a lot of money on this card, man. So hopefully we can cash out just like we both did last week. We were on a bit of a run, so yeah, hopefully we can continue it.
I love to hear it, man. I love to hear it. Usually, I'm not big on pay-per-views. I mean, it's one of my only losses this year. It was a pay-per-view with Parker Porter burying me. But yeah, I do have some players as well, which I'm excited to talk about. And yeah, you were the first one to bring me on. Obviously, I've been on a few other podcasts now, but yeah, it's good. We're out chatting. I think we've got some similarities. We both do this full time. So hopefully it's a really good podcast for everyone. And I'm excited to get into it. All right. On that note, probably should get into it, eh? So first fight of the night, Loik Radzhabov versus Esteban Ribovic. So I'll take this one away just because I feel like I have a little bit of a hot take. I like Ribovic here. You know, I know this is a massive step up in competition. You know, I'm seeing people. You know, Loik is a household name in PFL. He fought twice for the actual title. You know, he's got that similar Dagestani style. You know, even though he's from Tajikistan. Solid wrestling, just comes forward. He's very aggressive. Not much defense though, and his control is not the best. What it comes down to, I don't want to bang on too much about this fight. I think Loik is a little bit overrated, or he is getting a little bit overrated on the line, or I wouldn't want to play this kind of juice on him just because of the bad control. You know, if you look at the people he's fought in PFL, you know, Alex Martinez is a mess. You can argue that he does have worse takedown defense than someone like Ribovic. And he lost the split there. Even in the rematch, you know, he won a unanimous, but I think it was a 29-28. He constantly puts himself in deep submission attempts, right? Guillotine chokes, multiple guillotine chokes by Alex Martinez. You know, Ribovic, one of his faults is, you know, takedown defense is not the best, and he kind of hunts for the Kimura, which, you know, more than likely is not going to hit here. But the last fight I seen with Zach Zane, Loik let him have a really deep Kimura to the point that he had to roll out. And usually when you have to roll out, that's like the last-ditch escape. You know, you can defend it in the guard, you can straighten your arm, you can do whatever, but he had to roll out. He was wincing a bit. And I'm like, Zach Zane, a kickboxer, that's just really horrible. They gave him a can. Yeah, it's just, even if he goes long, you know, he's probably going to get takedowns here. I think he's going to slow down a bit. He's going to become hittable again. You know, Ribovic hits like a truck. If he can just get up and keep fighting, as long as he doesn't cardio die, I think all the value is on him. Yeah, if you look deep into Loik's career, you can just see that he's not as good as the odds indicate. You know, Raushman Fio, we've seen OAM completely shut down Raush. We've seen OAM also completely shut down Martinez. So these guys are not hard to shut down, right? They're hittable, they're easy to take down, but Loik just can't do it. Just because he reminds me of an old school Gaethje with the lack of defense and just plodding forward and the cardio. So yeah, dog or pass for me. I haven't locked anything in just because money's coming in on Loik. Obviously, people are parlaying him. This happens on pay-per-views. Happy just to wait and decide on my stake tomorrow during my final bets and after the weigh-ins. But yeah, a little bit of an island here. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I don't really have much interest in this fight, man. Like, short notice for Loik. He does gas in his fights sometimes as well. But I think he should be able to get takedowns pretty easy. It's just hard to judge how good Esteban is. You know, I watched his fights. Most of the fights I watched, they're over. And, you know, the recent ones over in like 30 seconds or whatever. And then that one where he went into the third round, just getting taken down for like 15 minutes constantly. He worked back up to his feet, but, you know, he got taken down easily. A few other fights I saw of him, he got taken down easily. Seems like he hits hard, but then you never really know coming into the biggest promotion in the world. You know, oftentimes we'll see fighters, they're like Askarov, you know. I remember he had like 11-0, 11 finishes, and then he had 6 fights in the UFC, like all decisions. You know, so these fighters, they look like they're good finishers, they hit hard, and then when they come into the UFC, they're they're not, right? Even what's that fellow who came in the other day who everyone keeps saying is like Ribovic, who fought Malarkey? Prado. You know, I think he was like all finishes, wasn't he? And then he fights Malarkey and it looks like he doesn't know how to finish his dinner, you know? So it's just tough for me to gauge the level of Ribovic. So I oftentimes don't really like betting these fighters making a debut because I don't know the level. Obviously, Loik's making his debut too, but we kind of do know his level. But man, I can't, you know, whatever. If you want to take a shot on Loik, it's not on the dog. Fair enough. Did you bet the dog, or you just saying like that's the value?
No, I did bet, but I cashed out because I saw money coming in on Loik. So I'm just gonna wait to see the best possible line.
You probably can get like over 225, but yeah, man, I don't have much. I reckon Loik's probably just going to win by decision, man. Probably take him down and win by decision. Might gas in the third, get hit a couple times, but I still think he can probably get takedown. So Loik via decision is probably my my best bet.
Yeah, I don't disagree, man. Like there is a lot of questions. I'm just kind of looking to fade the price and Loik's disadvantages. But yeah, I think he might be a little bit better than Prado. But yeah, I will finalize tomorrow. At the moment, I've got nothing in it, so let's.
That's what Narco did that last time. You know, Narco Cop, Mike. He did that when to Hugov. You know, it was like minus 500, and he fought that guy making his debut, Elvis Brenner, who looked terrible. And he's like, "Look, I don't think Brenner's great, but I just want to fade to Hugov. He always gasses, and it worked out well for him. So you know, fading these guys, massive juice." That fade every fight, it's not a bad look. So you might have something there. We'll see.
Yeah, 100%. I actually wanted to play that too, but I just didn't have the balls. It's like the skill gap seems so big that I didn't want to risk it. I don't know about this one, but yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's just whether you want to play it or not, and you know how big your stake is. But yeah, that was a good play by him. I just live bet that one personally. Shall we move on? Let's move on to Farid Basharat versus Demon Blackshear. So, yeah, I see a lot of people like the dog here. You know, Blackshear is kind of a decent regional opponent. You can argue that he's a UFC level fighter. Maybe not. Depends who you ask. You know, elite back taker, really good at taking the back. And I rate Basharat. You know, I rate Basharat. I rate both the Basharat brothers. Just, you know, no fat in their game. I had to go really, really far back in his career just to see him get taken down, and just goes for like a omoplata sweep and just instantly stands up. You know, there's no ifs about it. You know, he wants to be back on his feet. He wants to reverse. There's no trying to play guard for too long. Just any bit of space is up. And Blackshear, as good as comfortable as a scrambler and grappler he is, he does get reversed a lot. He gives up position a lot, gets his own back taken. And when you look deep into his career, yeah, you know, he's lost to people that were in the UFC or that could be in the UFC, which is fair enough. I don't hold that against him. But it's just more the people that he's beating, you know, in CFFC and CES, you know, just guys with really bad records. You know, he beat Anderson, who was 5-0, but then he's 5-3. And Josh Smith, you know, 11-7. I don't even want to know what his record is now. Yeah, it's just, you know, he can beat the low-level people. And even the last guy Farid beat in Contender Series, you know, Bagoso. I hit a dog shot there, and you know, it was never live. You know, he's a really good jiu-jitsu guy with good guillotine and power and good boxing. Fought for the LFA title, and yeah, just ran through him. All right, gassed him out ASAP. If he gets on top, he's really good. Just like his brother, they make you pay. If you're gonna pull guard or do something stupid, they'll make you pay, man. They're just constant ground and pound, death by 1,000 cuts. So yeah, what I played here was I played Farid Basharat, just a little bit over half a unit, round 3 of decision. I got $1.80, just under pick'em. I feel fine with that. I mean, for a lot of these pay-per-views, I just kind of, I'm a dog hunter usually, but I feel comfortable with laying the juice on pay-per-views. That's usually how it goes. I feel like it might be closer than the line indicates, but I don't think Damon's that guy. The scariest thing is, can he take his back? But yeah, everything that I've seen from Basharat, really, really safe on the ground, really smart fighter, really cerebral. And I just think on the feet he's going to get lit up. And then I also played round 3, ends in submission at $16. I put $100 to win $1,500. I just thought that covers, you know, Damon's rear naked choke as well in round 3. If it happens, he's got a few of those. But most likely, I'm hoping that Farid gets a round 3 finish for a red panty night. I thought about the over 2.5, but I just thought I'll pass. I think it's just accurate. Not much value there. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, another big favorite. I think the first 6 fights on this card are like massive favorites. It's probably warranted here. Basharat coming out of London. He's Afghani. He lives in London. So I'm kind of half familiar with him, obviously through his brother. I think his brother's better, to be honest, like from what I've seen. But you never know. I think he's the older brother, right? Who's the older brother?
I think the other one is the older one.
Yeah, so Basharat's the other one. Javid, that's it. Javid's the older brother, so I think he's a bit better. But we'll see. I don't think Damon's got much for him, to be honest. I mean, anytime Damon's took a step up, he's fought, not even great fighters, and he's lost every single one of them. He got beat by Chris Moutinho. It's not a good look in my opinion. That's a bad loss, man. Chris Moutinho is not a good fighter. We've seen that in the UFC. He's not really good. Pat Sabatini and Danny Sabatello, fair enough. You can lose against those guys. But Chris Moutinho, I know it was 4 or 5 years ago, but at the end of the day, I don't think Basharat would have lost to Chris Moutinho 4 or 5 years ago. Chris Moutinho was also 5 years younger, so. Was you going to say something? No.
No.
Yeah, man. I think Basharat's going to win this fight. It's just how he wins it. Inside the distance or decision. He's more of a decision guy from what I see. I think his brother is also more of a decision guy as well. Blackshear is very tough, never been stopped. He's fought good fighters. Pat Sabatini, Danny Sabatello, I know he don't finish anyone, but Moutinho, he's never been stopped. But he almost got stopped in that last fight against Zalal, right? He got battered in the 3rd round, dropped by a body shot. But I don't think it was just one body shot because Zalal was going to the body that whole fight. And so I think eventually it just wore on him. And that body shot came through and then dropped him and then he just got pounded out on the floor. Ref was very close to stopping it. I actually bet fight goes to decision at minus 140 there. It looked amazing up until that body shot in the last round. So, I was happy he clung on. But I think he could get stopped in this fight, I mean, oftentimes people think, you can't get stopped if you've never been stopped. But we see it all the time, man. Fighters never been finished before and then they get finished. I do think if he does get finished, it's going to come in round 3 though. So this is the only fight we spoke about on a DM before this podcast. And Farid to win in round 3 or decision, I think you said it was $1.70 or something. It's not bad, to be honest, man. $80?
Yeah, well, one bookie is $80. You can shop around. I'm sure you can find another one that's $80.
Yeah, minus 120, minus 125. That's good, man. Honestly, I'm thinking about playing it myself. So I think he wins probably by decision, I'll say. But he probably gets close in that 3rd round. So we'll see, man. Maybe I'll take that $80 shot. Maybe I'll play a little bit on the round 3. Round 3 KO, you're saying $23 or something. We'll see, man. But yeah, I think he's going to win by decision probably.
Yeah, most likely. Both these brothers, like I said, death by 1,000 cuts. And even Barriault was done in round 1 and Farid kind of carried him to a decision. He made him pay, but yeah, I think someone like Blackshear can probably just trickle over round 3. And like you said, he ate 4 minutes of body shots, man. And then finally, with 1 minute to go, he started to fall over. But roll to his back, close the guard, good survival instincts. I don't think Farid's going to go as hard as Zalal. But yeah, we agree, man. We agree. Hopefully this one cashes. Hopefully round 3 cashes. But yeah, either way.
I'm going to play that. I'm going to play a little sprinkle on round 3 Basharat. Why not?
It sucks that I can't really... I literally taped their whole career last night, which I don't usually retape unless... I thought I would have heaps of bets on this, round 3 sub. So I was like, I'll tape their whole career. And I just can't get a read if it's going to be a sub or if it's going to be a KO. And they're both playing $23. The younger brother is a bit better taking the back and getting rear naked chokes, which is why you just don't know. And then other times he's just kicking the crap out of people, head kicking them, ground and pounding them to a KO. I just have no idea. So it's I guess you can put $50 on both of them, to win 2,000, 1,000 something. Just peanuts. But yeah, hard for me to actually tell. And even looking at Damon, it's never been hurt until Zalal, never been subbed or even close to subbed. And it's you just can't tell what's going to give, if he does get finished. So yeah, it's one of those.
Probably goes decision, man. Probably goes decision. He hurts him in round 3. You know how it goes, or one of them.
Yeah. Alrighty. I'll let you take this one away. So Jessica Penne, Tabatha, Ricci, someone in the comments really wants to talk about this fight. I taped this originally. I thought there was a bit of value in Ricci. I did not want to play her as a favorite when the line was better. Now there is no way that I'm playing the favorite. It's definitely dog or pass. I just didn't get around to taping it. Maybe by tomorrow I will. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I bet Jessica Penne. It's like the only one where I've bet and I'm like, oh, why did I bet that? Not really, but as you know, man, when you got a decent amount of money on the bets and when winning a bet or losing a bet means a little bit more than, I've just chucked $20 on this on the weekend, you start to get a little bit more hesitant with your bets. As your stake increases, you start to get a little bit more remorse after you place the bet. Soon, before you place the bet, you're like, don't know if I want to do this. And then you do it. And then as soon as you do it, you're like, fuck, like, should I have done that? But that's what I was thinking about with Jessica Penne a little bit. Just because I do think that there's a clear wrestling advantage, or at least there's a clear path to victory for Ricci. She's going to take her down and wrestle her. But the reason I bet Penne is because she's obviously got way more experience. I mean, she better have. She's 40 years of age, We don't see a lot of fighters 40 years of age fighting in these lower weight classes, female straw weights. But I just feel like she's got the better boxing, better experience. We've seen when she fought another takedown artist, Lupita Godinez. She's jumping on her back. She was doing well, in my opinion, to defend the initial shot, get to the fence, and then jump on her back or do janky things like grab her arm and circle off the cage. So she did well in that Lupita Godinez fight, and Lupita did shoot takedowns. She was actually losing the boxing there, but she won it by jumping on her back and stuff. So, she's shown some ability to fight when fighters are trying to take her down. I don't think she's got the worst takedown defense of all time. And then on the other hand, it's just more of a fade on Ricci at minus 300, man, or whatever she is, because Ricci is obviously, he's talking about the wrong girl there, I think. But Ricci's very young in the game. She's not she didn't even look that good in her fight against Maria Oliveira, in my opinion. She didn't look amazing against Poliana Viana. She's taken a step up here. Jessica Penne's fought the who's who in the division. She's very tough. I don't think Ricci's going to finish her. So, it's going to be a 15-minute fight. And you give me plus 230 or whatever I got, and it's even gone up now. I don't really miss the line too often. I reckon 80% of the time I beat the line, but this is one of the times where I didn't. I bet her at 225 and she's 260 now at Bet Online, man. So I don't really want to have more exposure to this fight, but I might have to bet it. I just think she can win the striking exchanges and she's got much more veteran experience. I think Ricci might be found out here. Could be a close fight. So plus 250, whatever. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I can't add too much without just regurgitating everything. I agree. I've been trying to fade Ricci. I think she's green. She's fought nobodies. She struggled to take Maria Oliveira down all around one. We've seen what someone like, what's that girl's name? The crazy chick that sucks at wrestling. Demopoulos. We've seen what Demopoulos did to Oliveira. And even, the Poliana Viana fight, it's just two girls that, pull guard. And she had a perfect style matchup there, and it was a 29-28. She lost the round. So I agree with everything, Penne is also going to be one of those girls that's just not the best takedown defense, kind of likes to be on her back. So I guess I can see why people are favoring Ricci because of that. But yeah, not at this line, It's going to be a decision. It's going to start standing every time. There's going to be some awkward back takes, some awkward scrambles, split decision, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I agree with everything you said, mate. Just haven't played it yet. And if I got time to look into it, I mean, at this line, it's just getting out of whack a little bit.
Yeah, I agree, man. We'll see.
Alrighty. Let's move on. Now, I'm just going to address some of these comments because we've got a lot. I usually address them at the start of the podcast. We had none. Not all of them because some of these are completely outrageous.
What they're saying. Let me have a look.
Tanner Gale, thanks for the show, boys. James, what time are you dropping your bets for the rest of the weekend? Maybe you can answer him, mate.
Bro, I get so many weirdos online. Who's this fella? I ain't even gonna, not Tanner. I'm gonna drop him after the podcast, bro. After the podcast.
This guy's a beast. FIFA XX Gaming, two of the goats of the MMA betting. Thank you, mate. There you go. You got bringing some fans. Kurt, Kurt K, we'll call him. Shout out from Canada. I'm pouring fat snorts of whiskey and dialing in. That's it, mate. It's the best way to gamble. Not really. I'm all about being sober when gambling. Daz Files, let's go. Showing all, not the real one, thick baby, but there we go. Steve Gregory, I'm not going to read this, but this guy's a legend. Yeah, and just a whole lot of stuff about Ricci's ass. So let's move on. Mana Martinez, Cameron Saaiman. So another fight that I taped, and I kind of don't have the strongest take. I'm just passing all around. So I will let you bang on about it. Mostly it's just, yeah, it's a dog or pass at this line, but I can't play Mana. I'm not really a fan of his game. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, so I think there's value on a couple lines here on both fighters, and I hate when that happens. You're probably in that position a lot as well. So I think there's value on Mana Martinez money line. Then I think there's value on Saaiman decision, right? So it's like, well, what do I want to do? There's value on both. I think probably Saaiman wins via decision. The reason I can't play both, and I'm close to playing Martinez money line, but it's because like Martinez just doesn't really do anything. You know, we've seen in multiple fights now where he's had the chance to put it on his opponent and he doesn't really do it. In the Guido Canetti fight, terrible look. I mean, he could have knocked out Guido Canetti in that fight, 100%. He almost finished him in round one. He backed him up against the fence within about 60 seconds, let off about 3 body shots, hit him in the head once, and Guido Canetti started stumbling. You know, it looked like he was dancing. He was stumbling. He didn't want to be in there. He could have finished him then, but he stood back. And he literally did that the whole fight. And all the commentators, they got wind of it. You know, they saw what was happening. And Bisping was like, what is he doing? You know, every time he puts him against the fence, he just steps back. And that's exactly what he did the whole fight. Like, he had to win the fight by being, you know, pressuring, putting him up against the fence and throwing hooks like he likes to do. But every time he did it, he just stood back. I don't understand what he was doing. And then, obviously, he got smashed by Ronnie Lawrence, whatever. But that's a bit of a bad look because he got dropped 3 times in that fight by a grappler. Maybe, look, he was, you know, worried about the takedown, whatever. He still got dropped 3 times. It didn't look great, right? And then in the last fight, Brandon Davis, he threw his hands a little bit more. But even then, there was times where I felt like he should have let go. And he just didn't, right? He kind of pulled the trigger a little bit. Or he pulled away from pulling the trigger. So in this fight, he's not going to out-volume Saaiman from what I've seen, right? Saaiman throws a lot of volume, man. The guy just, he's a builder. You know, so in round 1, he doesn't look best. But then round 2, round 3, in my opinion, he looks the same in round 3 as he does in round 1, maybe even better. You know, he gets reads and stuff like that. So it's just tough for me because I do feel like Mana Martinez is a big step up for him here. I think Mana Martinez probably hits the hardest of any fighter he's ever fought. We don't know anything about Saaiman. When I first saw this line, I was like, Jesus Christ, man, I'm going to have to bet Mana here. But it's tough for me, man. I am still close to pulling some form of trigger on Mana, maybe a small bet, but I see it playing out like Mana just does the same thing as he's done in his last 3 fights. Doesn't really pull the trigger. Saaiman just wins on volume. Saaiman's the much more diverse striker. Saaiman's going to throw spinning kicks, teeps, kicks, all types of kicks, where Mana's basically going to box only. So, you know, it's tough when everything's equal. Boxer versus kickboxer. Kickboxer's mainly going to just out volume him, you know. So if Mana doesn't get knockdowns, I don't really know if he wins the fight, because I don't think he's going to out-volume in. So I do think Saaiman's going to win via decision. And because that's my prediction, when I'm seeing plus 200 or plus 190, I'm like, yeah, maybe there's some value. But then I feel like money line side is Mana. So I'm kind of torn between it. So when that happens, usually I just completely pass, man, because I'm like, I can't make my mind up. So I'll say Saaiman wins via decision, but I'm probably not going to bet it.
Yep. Can't disagree with much. What I agree with is UFC betting experience. Saaiman round 3 decision plus 120 isn't bad. Just because how strong Saaiman comes on in round 3, and Mana kind of slows down a bit as well. I live bet Davis in that last fight. I don't want to pre-bet it. Just there's a lot of questions after his knee surgery, and Mana, my only 2 performances in the UFC is Guido and then Lawrence. So I kind of want to see more of him. And yeah, after like winning round 1, I was like, I've seen what I had to see, because Davis is throwing a lot more. He's just kind of losing it on one moment where he's getting clipped, and then he was just dragging the fight towards him in round 2, and then he gets clipped again by a spinning back fist. And it's like, man, I'm a bit unlucky here. And he just dominates him, takes him down, and he just dominates Mana in round 3, and he loses a split. And it's just like, I can't bet a guy like that. I know he's a massive dog, so I guess that's in the line. But I can't bet a guy like that. Like you said, just stays on the outside and just teeps, occasionally calf kicks, switches stances. Whereas Cameron is hittable. So I understand people hitting the dog. But I have a sneaky suspicion, like his mentor, that he has a good chin. He's been hitting bombs constantly. Obviously, it's going to catch up with him one day, but he's just constant pressure. He's just like a much better minute winner. And then by round 3, he's probably going to be taken over. So yeah, I will be very nervous if I had a decision. If Mana slows down, like in the Davis fight again, what Saaiman could possibly do to him with the constant pressure, the constant volume. I bet Saaiman against Kim as a massive dog and contender, and he started slow in round 1, and he started slow kind of against Kozlov as well. But yeah, I saw some people saying that was a bad performance. Kozlov would do the exact same thing to Mana. I mean, Mana was taken down in reverse by Guido Canetti. So yeah, I'm on the same spot as you, which is why when I see multiple lines with value, I just stick to the live bet. Round 1 starts, Cameron starting slow, and he's kind of doing what Davis is doing. He's kind of turning it on. All right, at this point, then I know how the fight's going to pan out, and I know that Saaiman has value. So at this point, I can live bet him. Whereas before the fight starts, like you said, anything could be value. But when 5 minutes in, then you kind of get a better idea. So I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to play the juice. I'm not going to play Mana because I hate him. And I'm just going to live bet Saaiman. Hopefully, he gets dropped, starts slow like in every other fight, just a bit hittable, and then works his way into a fight. Maybe it's 1-1 and he's still a dog, and then just hammer him live in round 3.
Yeah, I can live bet again now because I haven't been able to live bet for a long time, but I can this weekend. So yeah, maybe I'll look for that. I will say I don't think Mana's going to gas like his last 2 opponents, though. Like, I don't think Mana's a big gasser like Kozlov did from the wrestling, and then that other fella contenders, he 5-0, like he gassed bad. I don't think they're going to gas that bad, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I have a sneaky suspicion that he might, because he fell apart against Davis, and I have a feeling that he fights like he fights, with a really low output because of that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but we'll see. If anyone's going to bring it out of him, it'll be Saaiman.
Yeah.
Steve Gregory asks, what leafy suburb of London does Lucrative come from?
It's many different suburbs, bro. We don't call it suburbs where we're from, man. That's an Australia and New Zealand thing. There's no suburbs in London, bro. It's gritty in London. It's not suburbs. You go to the suburbs when you move out of London. So there's no suburbs in London, bro.
London's like Melbourne, Australia. I absolutely hated it. I felt like I was just in Australia with people with English accents. I got bored after 2 days and I just took the train to Manchester.
London's dead, bro. London's completely dead, man. It's a crazy place, bro. I'm glad I got out.
All right. Saaiman next fight will be a fade. Any decent grappler? I don't agree, man. I think the kid's got potential. You got to be careful who you fade him with. Who was my guest last week? Bruce KO, BigSteve. I'm glad you got a proper guest this week. That retail last week was awful.
Jesus Christ.
My guest?
What, a couch warrior?
No. He was never on my. Chad. Come on, leave Chad alone, mate. He was drunk. And that was the best podcast I've done so far. So, all right, let's move on. FIFA Gaming. You should come to Amsterdam. I came to Amsterdam, mate. I spent 10 days there. It was probably too long, to be honest, but it's a unique place. Alrighty. Ian Garry, Machado versus Kenan Song. Quickly take this before the pod. The lines are just filthy on this one. Garry by finish. Worse than minus 200. I see people taking him by KO. I think Song, I would like to see Song hurt by someone else other than Max Griffin. I think Griffin hits hard. On any day, he can knock anyone out. Song was a money train for me when I wasn't even keeping scores of my bets, back in 2017. If you're not in the UFC, Song's going to knock you out. Just knocked out Aldana, knocked out Nash in 17 seconds. Faded my boy, Rockstar Callum Porter. It's just... He's beautiful. He's a beautiful guy to knock out all these low-level guys. And I think I lost money thinking that he's possibly going to knock out old mate Morono as well. And Morono just showed with his looping hooks that there's a level to the striking game in the UFC. But Morono didn't really hurt him. He busted him up. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to pay the massive juice line on Garry. He can also submit him. Awful takedown defense from Song. Haven't really seen it much from Garry. So yeah, this is just a whole big pass for me all around. What about you, mate? Do you have anything to add? Or
Yeah, biggest favourite on the card other than Bo Nickel, I think. Or maybe Valentina's up there now. But I like Garry, man. I've been making money on Garry since he stepped into the organisation. Everybody been trying to fade him because, I don't know, they don't know how to read a fight properly when they also have some emotion tied into it, because they'll watch his interviews and they're like, all right, he's too flash. He thinks he's McGregor. Let me bet against him. But that's not how you bet. You know, you have to separate it. So he might be flash in his interviews and stuff, but he's a good fighter, man. Yeah, he can be caught a little bit, but I don't understand how people say like, oh, he's got bad striking defense and, you know, he got caught by Jordan Williams. His striking defense is probably his best part of his game. So like, you got the people saying, oh, you know, like he can get caught. He's got tall man's defense, and they're saying that as a negative, but the best part of his game is his defense. Like, I don't understand it. You can't have both, you know. But look, man, everyone's saying he's going to get a finish. I don't know. I like to fade the narrative here. Garry decision that keeps on climbing. That was 210 a few days ago. It's 290. Garry decision is 290 on FanDuel, and then you got 275 on multiple other books. So I might bet Garry decision here, man. I'm not 100%. I'm like 50-50 whether he gets a finish or decision. So he's a decision fighter, you know. But obviously Song is going to walk forward like a lunatic. But so did Gabe Green, you know, and he didn't knock him out. Maybe Gabe Green's a lot tougher, but is he? I mean, he looks.
I would say so.
Does he have a better chin? I don't know, man. Like, is he tougher in general as a human? Yeah, probably. Like, he's going to push through cardio. You know, he's grit biting his mouthpiece. Does he have a better chin? I don't really know. Gabe Green's been knocked out twice, man. You got to remember that on the regional scene, you know. But yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 whether it goes decision. So I'll probably play Garry decision, man, just like a unit or something.
Yeah, I agree, dude. From the quick, you know, ×3 tape that I did on all of Kenan Song in UFC, he does seem durable. Yeah, I think that Max fight was an anomaly. Garry might just stick on the outside. Yeah, it seems like there's a bit of value there. No way would I play the finish. What is it again?
No way.
Yeah, $1.44. That's just horrible. That it's not even the narrative; it's just the price is just unplayable. It's like, yeah. Wouldn't even contemplate it. Alrighty.
Bro, whoever's playing Garry inside the distance at -210, Jesus Christ, man. Fucking hell.
You know what? I wouldn't mind if you're confident. If you're confident, but it's like after tape, I'm not confident.
How can you be confident? Garry loves to just point fight and stay on the outside. That's what he loves to do.
Yeah, but if it was like someone that's chinny and if it was like a can crushing match, you know.
Yeah, but it's
like,
not.
All right, I'll lay the juice, you know. Like for example, Bo Nickel, you know, hint. But yeah, this one, it's like, no, based on tape, I don't think Kenan Song's that bad. So I wouldn't be confident personally.
No,
well, not that
Garry
bad.
Decision, man. I'm betting Garry decision, bro. We'll see.
All right. Or how about we bring out round 3 of decision once more? That's the theme of the podcast. I don't know. I'm probably not touching it. Speaking of not touching it,
yeah.
Julian, Marquez, Marc-André, Barriault. A lot of love for Barriault, to the point that now he's a decent favorite or moderate favorite. I don't understand it. I never liked Barriault's game. You know, he's at one point was about to get cut. He got his first win over Piechota and ended up testing for steroids. Usually they get cut after that, after getting busted after a 3-fight losing streak. Pardon me. Yeah, he got away with it, and then they just gave him some bottom of the barrel, absolute bums, you know, like Azaita and Dalcha to just get back on a winning streak. But yeah, I hate his style. He's a plodding guy. He doesn't have good punch technique. He just comes forward. He eats a lot of punishment until his opponent gasses out, and then he just tries to take over. I actually did play him at Juice against Piechota. That's fine. But I played him against Juice against Dalcha. And I was just not happy with that performance. Like, he should have got him out of there. Half his punches were missing. He was actually getting hit by Dalcha in rounds 2 and 3 when he was gassed. Like, it just comes into the pocket. And it's like, yeah, just not happy with that. I was sweating. I was kind of surprised that he got a unanimous. I think the judges just faded Dalcha's body language. But yeah, never been a fan of him. You know, Jordan Wright. Yeah, yeah, just he can beat the bottom of the barrel. He can beat someone that's really flaky or really gassy. Oh man, what's going on? And I just don't think Marquez is that guy. I think this is a pick 'em fight. Neither guy has any defense. I think Marquez hits a lot harder. I think Barriault's going to be there to be hit. He's going to pressure him. Yeah, he can probably get takedowns, considering Marquez's takedown defense is horrendous. But yeah, other than that, it's just a slobber knocker. I see people fading Marquez because of his cardio. I don't think Barriault's cardio is that amazing. Yeah, it's just when you compare him to flaky, gassy fighters that they're putting him up against, yeah, it's amazing. But, Marquez will fight for your money. Yeah, it's a dog or pass for me. I kind of hit the over 2.5 at plus money. It was 240 plus 140. I just feel like if you really like Barriault, then most likely he wins by decision. So most likely the over cashes. And a bit of line movement, but I'm probably going to cash out. I don't want to sweat this low-level brawling fight when neither guy has any defense for 2.5 rounds. So I think I'm just going to be passing on everything. Maybe live bet. I will play Marquez if the line keeps getting out of whack. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on who's going to win. I'm not too sure. Probably side with Barriault. I think he probably gets it done by decision because he doesn't really finish fighters unless they completely gas. And even then, sometimes he doesn't finish him like that Dolce fight. He just held him up against the cage for 3 rounds, really. And he didn't look like finishing. Even that Azaitar fight, got a finish in the last second. It should have been finished like 2-3 minutes before that, to be honest. But, still didn't finish him till late. So I bet the over. I bet goes to decision, like you. It was massive price earlier. Still like 175 on Bet365, which is good, I think. So, yeah, I think it probably goes decision. But I'm more like 50-50 if it goes decision or not. So then I thought the line was massively wide, But, yeah, I don't know. MAB decision is my prediction.
Yep. I think if you favor MAB, then the over is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
See some people
but he's also
saying
very tough, Like he's really, really tough. Like good chin. Before he got knocked out by Chidi, he was like indestructible chin, So even if Marquez hits him, I don't know if he's going to finish him. Obviously, it's going to be a bit of a war in the pocket at times, so it's a bit scary. But yeah, I favor MAB. Think it's going to go to decision, and then he's also really tough. So even if he does get beat, Marquez, could still beat him by decision. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think Marquez might have a better chin personally, but who knows? It's a wash. Not really interested. Alrighty. Viviane Araujo versus Amanda Ribas. I went back and forth. I had some money locked in on Araujo. I've been playing it recently. I played her against Lee. Played her against Grasso even in a 5-rounder, which I know that kind of looks like a silly bet, but I did not really agree with the 50-45. I thought the line was only juiced because of the cardio and the 5 rounds, and I thought Viviane won round 1. I think she had 3 minutes of top time in round 2. And then the way Grasso fought, she made rounds 4 and 5 really competitive. She kind of just won him on a couple of really obvious 1-2s, eye-catching 1-2s to the judges. And sometimes the judges will make that a split decision. Other times they just give it a 50-45, lazy judging, I call it. But yeah, she's got all the talent, man. I think she's got more durable. Her boxing's elite. Way more this defensively responsible, better chin. She can get takedowns. Ribas. I taped this extensively when Cortez Ribas was going to fight, and there was people on both sides. So I was like, all right, let's really see how good Ribas's defense is. And what I came away with, she has really strong hips. With that judo background, and she can stuff takedowns. But she has one takedown in every fight, and she ends up not getting up for the rest of the round. Like Whitmire, Janjarova. She just can't help it. If she ends up on her back once, but then after that, rounds 2 and 3, she will stuff every other takedown. So she has one in her. So Viviane can maybe get one in round 1. Just super elite jiu-jitsu from Viviane. I think she might be a 2nd degree or something. She instantly passed Grasso's guard. She's amazing on top, especially if Ribas is going to try sub her and stuff. It's going to be a bad move. She's going to end up giving up top time. But the more I thought about it, Viviane, I thought easily won 29-28 against Chukagian, and she got robbed there. I thought she won at least 2 rounds against Grasso. They gave her none. So, Ribas has good cardio. She has a really good output. I think it's just At Pick'em, even if she loses round 1, rounds 2, she's going to have the better cardio. You can say she'll win round 3 at a pretty high clip. She was putting it on Chikagian. So, yeah, the more I thought about it, there's not much value here. If Viviane was a bigger dog, then, yeah, I would hit it. But, yeah, it's essentially a Pick'em. So, it's a pass 5 for me. I could go either way.
Yeah, I think Vivi is I think she's the rightful favourite, but she's not a favourite. So, yeah, she shouldn't be an underdog in my opinion. I think she's going to win the fight. She's got the much more higher finishing upside. So if anybody finishes, I think it's going to be Vivi. I think she could definitely knock her out. You know, Ribas been knocked out by... Who knocked her out on the regional scene? Was it Poliana Viana or something? It was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So the guard subber knocked her out on the regional scene, and then she got knocked out by Marina Rodriguez. She got hurt by Verna Jandiroba, so I don't think she's got... I mean, we know she hasn't got a good chin. You don't really see it that often because women don't hit hard, right? So you don't see it when a woman has a bad chin because it just doesn't get exposed. For you to have a bad chin as a woman, and we know you have a bad chin, you must have a really bad chin, man, because these women don't hit hard enough to expose any bad chins. So if we know Ribas has got a bad chin, then she's definitely got a bad chin. So I think Araujo can knock her out. And I know she's going to probably gas. You know, she does that. But in her last fight against Grasso, she didn't gas. Why didn't she gas in a 5-round fight? The pace wasn't like extremely low. I mean, she grappled in that fight as well. And she didn't really gas in that fight. You know, not as bad as she has done in some of the other fights like Chikagan and stuff. So, you know, maybe she's fixed her cardio. First 5-round fight she trained for and she did well. So maybe she's fixed her cardio there. And yeah, more finishing upside. Cardio potentially is improved. She hits a lot harder. Not only has she got more finishing upside, but she hits harder. So, like you said, Grasso won that fight on a couple 1-2s. Vivi could win this fight on a couple 1-2s because she hits hard, right? So it's going to be seen more than when Ribas lands. So the optics upside, she's much more physical in my opinion. She's stronger. I think she's a stronger woman. So what that means is that Ribas is going to have a hard time taking her down. She might get reversed if she does take her down because she's weaker. And it also means that Vivi can take her down a little bit easier. So, you know, all of those things mixed into the pot. I think Viviane Araujo is going to win this fight.
Yeah, can't disagree. Just, yeah, I wanted a bit more meat on the bone. Alrighty, let's move on. Making some steady haste now. Herb Dean, nice haircut. Thank you, mate. Glad someone noticed. Steve Gregory, I like this guest. Says more in a couple of sentences than most gobshite cappers and do in 5 minutes.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, mate.
You could say that he talks a little bit too much in a couple of sentences. No, I'm talking crap.
Sometimes I do. Depends, man. Sometimes I feel like I got a long take and I want to get a few things out. And then sometimes there's nothing much to say, man, like the MMA Marquez fight. And then sometimes I can't really be bothered, so I just say a few. So it depends, man.
Yeah, I was worried because we can be the same. So I was like, hopefully we don't both waffle on for 3.5 hours. But yeah,
someone posted that on my YouTube yesterday. I was gonna post it to Twitter. It's funny. Someone posted because I did my full card breakdown. It was like 1 hour and 20 minutes. Right? But I was doing Q&A and speaking to the chat quite a lot and stuff. But it's like 1 hour and 20 minutes, right, for all 14 fights. And then someone commented, just so entitled, man, commented, make it 40 or 30 minutes and put timestamps, then maybe I'll watch. Or something like that. Like, I couldn't give a fuck if you watch it. Imagine typing it out to me. Like, people are so entitled sometimes, man. I just did a 1 hour, 20-minute podcast. You know, the correct response is thank you.
No, they're probably just trolling, mate. They're probably just trolling. Yeah, I got told, make it under 50. You know, that's the best. I'm like, we'll finish when it finishes, you know, like when it's done.
Yeah, say thank you.
Giallo, 2 of the best cappers in one stream. Thank you, mate. Get in.
Good man.
A lot of nice comments today. All right, let's move on. Derek Brunson versus Dricus du Plessis. I can't remember whose turn it was, but yeah, a bit of a volatile fight. I'll let you go, mate. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I can understand why people were playing Brunson, man, because he's plus 200. I'm sure, 175 on a couple books. I think people are going to be playing Brunson this week. I understand it. Dricus du Plessis taking another step up. Obviously, He's fought Darren Till. Yeah, there we go. Stud and Steve, man. That's what we should rename this podcast to on YouTube, bro. Just this episode, Stud and Steve. But I think Derek Brunson's obviously gonna look value before the fight. Like a lot of people are gonna want to bet him. Gonna get takedowns probably. We just haven't seen Dricus on his back much, so we don't really know how he's gonna look. I went through a lot of his tape in this week to find out how he looks on his back. Couldn't really see much. That Jolton Luterback fight, got taken down a few times, but he was able to reverse with guillotines and stuff. Basically, never just settled on bottom. Always got back up to his feet. Looked pretty well, looked pretty good. Unfortunately, man, I think Brunson's gonna become a cropper in this fight like he did in his last fight. I think it's going to be similar to the Jared Cannonier fight in the fact that he's going to have early success. I do think he's going to get takedowns in the first round, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep him down there like he did to Holland or Darren Till. These fighters are not Dricus, in my opinion. I think Dricus is going to get back to his feet, and I think he's actually going to out-cardio Derek Brunson. Everyone says Dricus got terrible cardio. I don't think he's got terrible cardio. I think he's got average cardio, but he fights through cardio issues very well, unlike some fighters, Derek Brunson. So I do think Dricus is going to finish him in round 2 or round 3.
Yep, can't disagree. I think the easiest thing is just, I think it's a volatile fight. You look at Duplessis' tape, and he's going to end up on his back at some point, right? Because he does that anyway on his own accord. When he's just panic shot against Tavares and just pulled him on the mount, and it's like he does these things that you can't imagine him not ending up on his back. Even against Till, I think it was round 2, he ended up on bottom of Till, grabbed his back and then fell off. And it's like you don't want to engage in those grappling exchanges with Brunson because for all his flaws, even when he's gassed, he will out scramble you, out grapple you, brutal ground and pound. So that's why I probably can't play the $1.40. Even though I thought about it, a washed guy at 39 years old, contemplated retirement. People love hating Duplessis because he looks like a bit of a weirdo with his awkward style. But yeah, he's the tape is there, man. He's a proven dude. He's an ape. He's strong. He's got punching power. He's knocking out people that are incredibly durable. Like Giles and Perez, like Soldic of all people. I watched that Jalton fight as well, and both times he got taken down with a head kick. Throwing a head kick, getting caught and dumped on his butt. But yeah, he's got good wrestling himself, man. Other than the Till fight, you can see that he's. He suplexed Soldic. He was throwing around and thoroughly out grappling Giles. Giles or whatever his name is not the best, but he's a solid grappler. So yeah, just don't want to bang on too much about it. I thought about the under 2.5. I thought that was better line than Duplessis. I thought, wouldn't it be weird that out of all the people that he's bonked, he doesn't bonk a chinny, Brunson? That would just be shocking to me. But then it was a little bit juiced. Now it's minus 200. I thought about it too much. And I kind of regret not hitting that Duplessis finish. It was a pick'em, and now it's $1.70. So it's I'll probably just be forced to play the Duplessis KO for half a unit at plus 125. I see some people saying the submission is live, the guillotine, but never been submitted. And he's never really been close with that guillotine, in the UFC. He's tried it, and, Giles and everyone, they just kind of easily get out of it. And, Jalton as well. I think, Derek, even if he's hurt and whatnot, there's a reason he's never been subbed, and once he hurts him and stuff, I think the ground and pound is just going to be there. He's just going to go in for the kill. So yeah, Duplessis by KO, you can't go wrong. It's going to be a hindsight, obviously, as if Duplessis could knock out someone like Brunson. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
This will be Duplessis' hardest fight yet, though. So
Oh no,
I understand. I understand why people are playing. He could get takedowns, but I don't know if he'll finish on top, and then I just don't think he'll hold him down for 15, man. So that's the issue I have. I think at some point he's going to gas out, and then when he gasses out, Duplessis is going to run him over.
I agree. It's a very volatile fight. He can drop him. Yeah, he hits a truck.
Brunson can hurt him on the feet as well. By the way, I think Brunson can crack him on the feet. People are not really thinking of that, but
yeah, he did it to Cannonier. He's got power, man. It's just his last run. He's just Shabazian, Holland, Till. I mean, we've seen Till be washed. Even same. Duplessis did the same thing to him.
They can't stuff a takedown. Not one of them.
And he loves giving up his back too. So first sign of adversity, he choked me out. But yeah. I just don't want to play, Brunson at 39 years old against the guy that most likely bonks him.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's move on. Cody Garbrandt, Trevin Jones. I'll take this one away. So I just recently taped this. I left this till the last minute. No matter how bad Jones is, not really interested in Cody at this line. He's a wash guy. I know he's only 31, but you can see it on tape. Even against Rob Font, his cardio never looked that bad before. That was a 5-rounder, but it was done in round 2. So just other signs other than his chin that he's washed. He's not the same. Obviously, a lot of injuries. I actually wanted to ask you about this Trevin Jones scorecard no action. It was plus 150, $2.50, which is the same as his money line. I mean, essentially, I think a lot of people would agree that Trevin Jones's path is puncher's chance, right? So if he goes to decision, you get your money back. But if Cody knocks him out, obviously you lose your money. But if you had half a unit on Jones' money line, you would still lose your money. At least this way, if he loses a decision, you kind of get your money back. So it's slightly less risk. And I do think the bonk is live here. I think this feels like one of those, he got a step down in competition, and then he still gets knocked out. I just feel like I just have a bad gut feeling every time Cody fights, He's just going on the outside, calf kicking, sticking and moving. He's low output himself. He is much faster here. I think this is a step down for Trevin, right? Compared to Basharat, compared to Barcelos, compared to, Kakramanov. This is a big step up for Jones. So it goes both ways, step down for Cody, step down for Jones. I think he's live. I haven't played it, and now it's dropped 20 cents in the last hour as I was taping it. So now it's $2.30. But yeah, if you're going to play that, anything on Jones, I think just play that. I think despite, Cody's low output, despite Trevin's low output, both their low output, I just think Jones's best path is a KO. He's so low output, man. Just a calf kick, a left hand, and cage time. Cody should at least, outvalue him. So, yeah, nothing for me. Dog or pass. Yeah, this is one of those fights, man. What do you say?
Yeah, I agree. You can't really break this fight down very technically because it just all comes down to how Cody looks. It's really hard to say. I mean, he's coming back up to 135 after dropping down to flyweight and getting knocked out on his first punch and then knocked out about 3 more times before the ref finally stopped it, in that Kai Kara France fight. So it's just tough to see where he's at, not even mentally, but just his chin's done, man. It's funny because I remember after, I think it was the Munoz fight. He got knocked out against TJ, first knockout, first loss ever. Got knocked out again against TJ. And I was like, this guy looks like he ain't got a good chin after the second knockout, right? First knockout, I was like, whatever. Second one, I was like, don't know, man, because then I was thinking back, when has he been cracked before? Dom didn't really touch him that much, and even if he does, Dom can't finish it.
Even Dom kind of hurt him. You could see it in the fight, which is a massive red flag. Yeah,
so I was watching it and I was like, this was years ago. I was like, maybe he ain't got a great chin. I ain't really seen him touched, and 2 times TJ touched him, finished him early as well. Do you know what I mean? Finished him round 2, and then I think the other one was round 1. Or it might have been 2 again, but whatever. But then he got knocked out against Munoz. And I was like, this guy ain't got a chin, he ain't got a good chin. But then people were just kind of clocking on then. But then everyone was saying, I remember this quite funny. Everyone was saying, it's not that he's got a bad chin, it's just the way he fights. Do you remember that narrative? No. He just fights. He just likes to get into a brawl. He likes to just swing. That's why. He's not got a bad chin. He just likes to brawl. I think now it's proven that the guy has got a bad chin. Doesn't matter if he brawls or not. I mean, he got a bad chin. It's funny that Font couldn't knock him out, right? But then again, Font doesn't knock anyone out except for Marlon Moraes, I guess. But it's just funny how these narratives change, and then also how these fighters go. Because Font to get a finish was that was nailed on at that point, and then it just doesn't happen. And everyone thought it was because of the beard, but then obviously he gets knocked out by Kai in his next fight with the beard. So it wasn't the beard. But man, this fight is hard to break down technically. Just in terms of how can we know if Jones is going to touch him on the chin? It's kind of a lottery. It's like a Russian roulette bet. Is Jones going to hit him on the chin? If he does, he probably knocks him out. Jones hits hard, man, really hard, Is he going to touch him on the chin? I don't know. Who knows? You don't know. We don't know. So whatever. In terms of the values on the money line and stuff, nothing really. But Cody decision's plus 500, which ain't too bad, I think, fading the narrative a little bit there. So maybe I'll play Cody decision for a little bit. plus 500. I do think that it's a big step down for Cody. Maybe arguably step down for Trevin, but like it's definitely a step down for Cody and a very, very large one. And we saw, everyone thought Barcelos was done. They was playing Jones KO and stuff, and then he just completely dominates him, because it was a big step down for him. And this is a big step down for Cody. So they've definitely gave him a fight he can win. And when they did that last time, it was against the Sunsao, and he knocked him out quite easily there. So yeah, Cody decision I'll play a little bit of, but in terms of a prediction, I don't know, man. I'll just predict Cody decision just because I'm going to play it. So hopefully it hits.
Yeah, it's a popular play. I've got 3-4 comments in here talking about that decision. That stood out to me as well. I guess it's, Trevin's getting hurt in every fight. Cacramano, Basharat.
Exactly. Barcelos dropped him.
Barcelos, even that Russian, they're all just hurting him. Like he's kind of durable, but he's kind of not. It's just every bet. I think that's why I didn't play it when it was plus 150. It's just every bet on this card, Cody decision, Cody finish, Trevin no scorecards. You're just scared to play because he can lose. It's just there's red flags with every bet.
That's what I mean. Because it's so volatile, you might as well play the one that is plus 500. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm doing it.
What I was thinking, playing the Jones decision, no bet, no scorecards.
Yeah.
And then sprinkling a little bit fight ends in KO, depending what the line is. And then maybe even a little bit of Cody decision. I don't know. I mean, Cody decision is plus 500, so you can just put $100 on it. You're not going to lose sleep over it.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I'll do.
All right, let's move on. Okay, let's use this fight to save some time, shall we? Bo Nickel versus Jamie Pickett. Right, I've got a unit on fight ends in round 1. Call me a juice boy. It's minus 200, a little bit better than minus 200, $1.53. It's better than Bo's round 1 on Contender Series. It's a better price than Bo's round 1 in the second Contender Series fight. It was better than Pedro versus Hunsucker. That was a worse line, and that was over with 1 kick. If you look at his fights, 1 minute, under 1 minute, 30-second KO. Jamie Pickett is a guy that when I played him to survive over 1.5 rounds, which I hated that bet, but I was just played it anyway. He tapped with 1 second to go because he was biting his tongue, and it made him feel in pain. This guy won't fight for your money. This guy won't fight to survive. He won't fight to get out of a choke. He cowers. He hates being punched. Right? I've been hitting these round 1s. Pedro Hunsucker, McKinney versus Ghost Pepper at minus 200. If it ends in 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, probably still had value, right? So I just put another unit on it right before the podcast. So I've got 2 units on that to win 1. I really like that submission, $1.90. But I just said, you know what? This is going to be such an easy fight to profit in if he just ends in round 1. I don't want to lose half a unit or a unit if he gets a KO instead of a submission, even though I favor it. I'm just going to take what I can get round 1, either method. If he gets out of round 1, then whatever, I'll lose either way. But I just put 2 units on that. I've upped my units recently, so hopefully the unit curse doesn't bite me in the ass and Bo doesn't do something stupid. But I watched his interviews. He said, I don't care how it happens, whether it's a KO or a submission, I'm not going to rush it. I'm not going to pick and choose, force anything. But he goes, I do want a round 1 statement here in my debut. So, yeah, the guy hits like a truck. I think at some point it's going to end up on the ground. He's going to finish him. What do you say, mate?
Yeah, what can you say about this fight, man? I will say, though, that, like, people are saying, oh, man, I don't like when people say Bo is, can beat, like, Pereira now and stuff. Listen, man. We don't know anything about the guy. Yeah, all right, he can take him down in a wrestling match. Even in an MMA match, he can get a takedown, but just relax on Bo Nickel being the champion tomorrow if they fought. What would you line Bo Nickel, Alex Pereira if they fought tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know.
It's hard, isn't it?
It's hard without any knowledge, yeah.
Like people saying, Bo Nickel clear favorite in that fight and stuff. It's just like, just relax, man, because yes, he can get takedowns. We know nothing about the fella. He could get jabbed once and quit. He could cry. He could take his bag and go home. You know what I mean? Like we don't know anything about Bo Nickel, man. So just relax on that. In this fight, I do think he's going to win because we know a lot about Jamie Pickett and we know that he's not very good, right? Bo Nickel, he looks like he's got like decent power in his hands. I don't know anything about the dude striking or anything like that, man. I personally think he's a really good prospect and he's going to go far in the division like everyone does. But I wouldn't be putting Bo Nickel into your parlays, mate. If you want to play Bo Nickel, play him under 1.5 rounds or fight doesn't start round 2, ends in round 1 like Steve did, because things happen in MMA, man. Things happen in MMA, right? So I'll just say that. But I think he's probably going to sub him because, I think Jamie Pickett's got really, bad submission defense. I think he's quite terrible, to be honest. Carl Dawkins put him in that Dash choke. Like you said, he tapped out with 1 second to go. He knew there was 1 second to go. That was bad there. If you go back to the Charles Bird fight, he got dominated, easily got submitted there. I think he's got bad submission defense. And I think Bo Nickel's really, really good on the ground. We know who he trains with. So we've seen him get submissions in MMA already. He's going to decision with Gordon Ryan and stuff. Pretty sure he went to decision with Gordon Ryan and stuff. So, I mean, he's grappling at a high level. He's probably going to finish him on the ground. I think Jamie Pickett has a good chin. I know everyone shits on him. I know you was kind of laughing at me in the DMs when I said this, but I think he's got a good chin. I think I said he's tough, and you was like, he's definitely not tough. But maybe what I meant was he's got a good chin, in my opinion. I know he got knocked out last fight, but I think he's got a good chin. I think we've seen enough evidence from, a few of his fights. Now, even that Jordan Wright fight, Jordan Wright hit him with everything. He should have been unconscious, but man, he still wanted to fight in that fight. He was carrying on, didn't get put out. Tafon hit him with mad bombs. Punahele Soriano, couldn't put him out, couldn't finish him. So I think that even if he gets dropped, probably he ain't going to finish him and he's going to drop to a submission, just like he did against that last fighter. That last fighter had never been finished either, had good chin, just like Pickett in terms of having a good chin. So I took Bo's submission because I do think he's going to, level above on the ground and he'll probably submit him early. But yeah, Bo's submission in round 1, I guess.
Yep. Can't disagree, man. Can't disagree. Let's move on. Well, this is a fight and a half. Mateusz Gamrot, Jalen Turner. I'll let you take this one away, mate.
Yeah, I actually like Jalen Turner a little bit in this fight. Gamrot's coming in on 1 week's notice. That can't be understated. A lot of people just ignore things like that when they have a read on a fighter. And obviously the read in this fight is that Gamrot's going to get takedowns. You can't really watch the tape and say he's not going to be able to do that. If you've got any brain at all, you'll watch the tape and you'll be like, yeah, he's probably going to get takedowns. But I don't know if he's going to hold him down for 15 minutes. I don't think he's going to hold him down for 15 minutes. Obviously, Gamrot, he's shooting 20 takedowns in a fight. Reason is because he can't hold guys down. Now, the fighters he's shooting 20 takedowns against are like Arman Sarukian and who did he fight in his last fight? Arman Sarukian, right? Yeah, I think Arman. But Dariush, exactly. Shooting 20 takedowns. I cashed on Dariush there because he's one of my favorite fighters. I just knew he'd be able to, get back up to his feet, scramble and all of that. And he's a better striker. But I think, obviously Gamrot's shooting 20 takedowns against fighters who can get back up to their feet. Can Jalen get back up to his feet 20 times? Maybe not 20 times, but I think he can do it 5 times. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Gamrot's going to smother him for 15 minutes. And so for that reason, I do think there's going to be times where the fight's on the feet. When the fight's on the feet, obviously I favor Turner. I think Turner's going to hit him with some hard shots. I think Turner's going to, come in with a good game plan. I think he's going to be able to... He throws them knees up the middle all the time. I really like them. And he times them well. He did it against Jamie Malarkey when Malarkey rushed in and he hurt Jamie Malarkey badly, in the first round with that knee. And it kind of just deterred Jamie for the whole fight. When Jamie finally got some balls behind him after that and decided to take him down, he did take him down. But Turner's 180 here, he's plus 180. And he's had the full training camp for this. Whereas Gamrot hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't been defending single legs as much as he would like to, if he had a full camp against Gamrot. But plus 180. He's much, much more dangerous on the feet. Many finishes. He's got that guillotine. He can defend takedowns with the guillotine. He's not solely relying on stuffing the takedowns with underhooks and stuff. He's got the guillotine there. He's got the knee on the way in. Anytime they're on the feet, in my opinion, he's going to win. What happens as well these days in MMA, we see it a lot where fighter gets control time, but the other fighter hits them once or twice on the feet and they get the fight scored for them. So I even think he can win a decision here. I mean, when you add all of that in, man, I take the shot on the guy who's coming in streaking. You know, he's won 5 in a row. Gamrot's lost, you know, potentially last 2 in a row. Even that Kuta Delase fight, you know, he lost that fight there. Got dropped in that fight. Got dropped against Dariush. Got dropped against Sarukian. He's getting dropped against Jalen Turner. And yeah, plus 180. Let's go. We'll see.
Yeah, can't disagree, man. Can't disagree. It's the first fight I taped. You know, some people saying that I respect that they laid the big money on Gambrandt, and it's like, yeah, I understand. You know, I still remember that Frivola fight, and I taped it. And look, he is stuffing some takedowns, right? He stuffs a lot of takedowns. It's just a lot of them are upper body takedowns because he's a strong guy. It's gonna be hard to take someone like Turner in the upper body. But when someone does shoot low, you know, like Frivola and Malaki, you know, did get stuffed most of his takedowns until he actually just dived over and shot a blast double. And when he does end up on his back, he's, you know, even the Malaki fight, 1 minute to go, kind of same as the Frivola fight. You know, it's not much get up game. I guess 1 minute to go, it could be one of those guys that's just like, that's fine. You know, this fight's going to start on the feet at the end of the round, so why rush? And, you know, he did that, and he just kicked the crap out of Malaki. Gamrot's my favorite fighter, essentially. You know, I love his style. He's got crap control like me, so I can relate. But I just love the wrestling. I love the grind. I love the cardio, the relentlessness. But yeah, I also faded him against Dariush, and it's just because I feel like I know the guy well. You know, I played him against Sarukian because he was a 5-rounder mainly. I just can't. Yeah, it's the price. Yeah, it's the price. You know, upon tape, you can see that Jalen might be flat-footed, and they might have those issues with his get-up game because he's such a big guy, so long. But then you mix in the lack of control, you mix in the lack of finishing from Gamrot, so most likely this is going to be a decision. Every fight's going to start back on the feet, so let's say he grounds him for maybe round 1 and Turner kind of looks tired, and then he comes out and slinging like against Malaki, and then he drops him. Same thing happens in third, and he drops him there too. Yeah, it's just the price. I look at that price, and I don't like it. I don't want to get in the way of Turner, who despite having all these disadvantages, Gamrot has his disadvantages too. Like, he's not a perfect fighter. Like you said, he gets dropped a lot. He has to dive in head first to get his takedowns. He blitzes in a lot. And yeah, that stepping in knee that Turner landed, he landed that on Frivola too. He made Frivola scared for the rest of the fight. Yeah, just a lot of things that, you know, I'm not one of those guys that think Turner's going to submit Gamrot. You know, the guy's got elite submission defense. But it doesn't feel right, you know. Doesn't feel right, you know, even though the people that I really respect played him, and it's like he should be able to get these takedowns, and he's got cardio to do it for 3 rounds. I just can't play it. Like, it's one of those ones where the price might save me. You know, Turner might come out and just knock him out, and everyone will be like mind blown. I can't believe this guy's the first guy to finish Gamrot. But that's just how I feel. I feel like I cannot lay this price. Just wait till I bet it. If Gamrot looks massive value, like everyone, you know, some of these people are saying, then so be it. You know, I'm happy not missing out on that money. I'll trust my gut instinct and just pass here. And yeah, just live bet it. Answer some questions from both these guys. But I think this is, Turner against someone like Gamrot who's not very physical or athletic or not a big finisher. It's a scary one.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, man. I'm looking forward to this one.
Someone's just at my house. Let me just see.
There's one. Steve's called the hookers round too early. All right, now we're actually going to break down this fights for real, man. This podcast is about to become the real podcast. Lucrative MMA betting podcast. Oh, no, Steve's back. What's up, bro?
Someone just buzzed up and then came into my house.
You called the hookers round too early.
I didn't even unlock the door, but they're on the way up. I don't know who the hell this is. So anyway, hopefully it's nothing crazy.
We'll find out.
Oh, well, they got that to come up to the 2nd floor, so I don't know who the hell this is. But anyway, keep going.
You just let someone come up to your house, you don't know who it is?
No, I saw the door. The door was unlocked, the front door, so I have no idea.
All right. Okay.
It's a bit freaky. I thought it would be the mailman or someone.
It's Melbourne, bro. You'll be safe, man. It's only Melbourne. I'm sure you'll be all right.
Anyway, yeah, keep going.
We done, bro. I said, Turner, we need to speak about Neil versus...
Oh, yeah. I thought you moved on to the next fight. All right, let's go. Jeff Neal, Shavkat Rakhmonov. I'll speed this one up a bit. I taped this thinking maybe there's some value on Jeff Neal, but I just don't want to get in Shavkat's way.
Yeah.
It's a show me fight. You know, Neil has great boxing, great power. He looked a bit better against Luque. It looked like he's back to his old ways. Even when he was going through the sepsis and everything, you could see that he didn't even have the same power that he had like against Bilal, for example. Like that old Neil would knock out Neil Magny, right? He would run through him, but it just not even the same power, not even the same pop on his punches, and that seemed to be back in spades against Luque. So if it's the same Neil here, there has to be some value, right? But it's Shavkat. You know, I like everything I see from Shavkat. You know, maybe just gets a little bit too patient, a little bit too stiff, too upright. But yeah, I mean, Neil could look value and still lose. So I don't really want to pay and find out. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Someone's saying Gamrot's goons kicking the door in 50 me. Now, they should be kicking my door in, man. That's Steve's favorite fighter. But yeah,
well, no one's knocked on my front door, so I think it was just the mailman let himself in, left the mail at my mailbox, and just left.
You're all good, bro. What mail are you receiving?
I don't know, dude. I mean, it could be my girlfriend's mail. Like, that's the thing. When someone just walks in without saying anything at the thing, the talking thing.
Yeah.
No idea.
Did you make the Discord, Steve? Someone's asking.
No, I'm waiting for the audiences to get impatient. You know, I'm waiting for the request. I'm waiting for them to say, I'm willing to pay thousands of dollars. Can you please make the Discord already? And then I'm gonna make it. No, I'm joking. I'm just working stuff out with my accountant and just finding the best way to do it. So
yeah, bro.
Soon.
What's the Discord for the viewers or what?
Yeah, it's just like rather than send my picks out, which I never really wanted to do. I'll be a hard guy to tail as well because like I make bets on the day when the fights start and I live bet a lot. So Discord is just like just talk to me, like and my people that I trust that are in there. I got a really good circle. And it's just like last week I made 5,000 and most of it was on regionals. And it's like I didn't do podcasts for half the regionals. I didn't do podcasts for Bellator. I taped every single fight. But if you're in that Discord, it's like, hey boys, I taped Smullen. I really like Smullen at $3.20. This is why. Tell me if you want. You know, rather than just send out my picks officially. I'm not organized enough for that. My betting's like all over the place. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was a personal big brain Discord.
Yeah, it's a good idea, man. The regional seems tough for me to get behind, you know, because there's so many fights, bro. I don't have time to pay for all this stuff, but
yeah, you got to make time, bro. I sort of told myself you got to make time because UFC has been awful for me, you know. 0.8 units on this UFC, broke even last one, then nothing on the pay-per-view. But if it wasn't for the regionals,
regionals.
You got to agree, the cards are pretty average, right? Like in terms of value recently, like maybe not for you with your style.
I don't know. Like, I've been on a good run to be honest. But
yeah, you're killing it. Yeah, but it's like what about last week? Or would you have like two bets last week?
But regionals are way easier, 100%. Like that's a fact, you know. It's just like you can't put as much money down and stuff, so it's a bit tough, isn't it?
I think the bookies are catching on with the UFC lines and stuff.
Yeah, they are. I think they've got sharper, but I mean, this is like one of my best years yet, so I don't know, man. But yeah, bro, we won't bore the audience. Jeff Neal versus Shavkat. I think this is a clear, you know, a massive step up for Shavkat, right? I believe that this is a big step up, but I would be playing Neal if it was a couple of years ago, like you said, you know, when he fought Bilal Muhammad, you know, after that, you know, that type of run. But I just feel like he's had a really bad performance in the Jeff Neal fight. I feel like he had a really bad performance in the Santiago Ponzinibbio fight from where I rank him, right? Not just in general, you know, he's a good fighter, you know, he fought good fighters, but from what I expect of Jeff Neal to how he performed, you know, it was like down here. Like I expected him to perform there. I actually bet him at like minus 190 against Neil Magny and just pulling my hair out, you know. Like come that round 3, he's just getting dominated, like bad. You know, he's getting taken down, elbowed in the clinch. Like Neil Magny's best round 3 ever, you know, and he's got so many round 3s, like not best round 3, but you know what I mean? Like whatever he does in round 3, he just does that to lots of fighters. And he was able to do it to Jeff Neal, completely dominate him in round 3. And then the Ponzinibbio fight, it was a war, but I don't think you should be having a war against a completely washed Ponzinibbio. No. We saw how washed he is against Alex Morono. So I think Jeff Neal's a little bit past it. Not to say that he can't win the fight, because I did try to fade Shavkat a little bit, you know, when he first came in. I only bet against him once, Carlston Harris plus 200, but I don't know, man. I think I just had a bad read on him. You know, I think he's actually a lot better than I gave him credit for. I've only bet against him once, but I shouldn't have really bet against him in that fight. And I'm not going to do it here. I think Shavkat probably finishes him late. I think the first round could be close. I think it's one of them ones where Shavkat maybe tries to get a takedown in round 1. He can't. And Jeff Neal looks good. Jeff Neal keeps it on the feet. He's stinging him with a jab. He's doing well. It's like, wow, he could win this fight. Jeff Neal, he's doing really well. And then I think he just gets worn down. Shavkat's the younger guy, the hungrier guy, the bigger guy, the stronger guy. I think Shavkat's just going to wear him down. And come round 2 or round 3, I think the takedowns will come. I think Jeff will stuff early, but I do think the takedowns will come, just like they did against Neil Magny. And I think round 3, Shavkat's going to be dominating from top position, elbowing him, knee on belly. He loves that knee on belly. He's huge, man. He's huge for the weight class. Knee on belly. I think he could probably get submission as well. I actually played a little bit of Shavkat in round 3, just because the dynamic of the fight, I do see Jeff Neal really slowing down. And I don't really see that from Rakhmonov in this fight. So, yeah, I think Rakhmonov's going to win in round 3 here to keep his 100% finishing record alive, but first time he ever hits round 3. That's my prediction.
Yeah, mine is I have no idea, but let's move on. If Neil looks good, it's a good fight to live bet. No need to put money on it before. Alrighty, so I've got 15 minutes max if I'm going to make my appointment. Let's try keep it quick on these last 2, or at least this one, so we can talk about the main more. Valentina Shevchenko, I will just give you my thoughts. I'm not one of these guys that thinks that Grasso is going to win, or that there's any value on her. I mean, there's got to be a little bit of value. The line is out of hand. But yeah, the only thing I really wanted to look into here is the over. The over 2.5 improved at one point, so people were playing the under. And I taped all the fights where Valentina finished in under 2.5, and essentially it looks like it's going to cruise over, and it's 1 takedown, 1 crucifix, and it's over. No one really gets out of the crucifix once it's on, and the refs really jump in nice and quick with Valentina. I think she's so physical. Her elbows might have like massive impact. I don't think Grasso is any better than like Chookagian or Andrade. Obviously, she might be bigger, might be stronger, more physical than Chookagian and stuff, but yeah, I don't want to be having a bet where at any point, even in round 3, right before it hits over 2.5 rounds, she gets the crucifix. It's gonna break my balls. I've ended up passing, and seeing stuff from Grasso, gives up a back to get up, instantly passed like a knife through hot butter by Viviane. Yeah, it's a pass for me. It's going to be predominantly a boxing fight. She's not going to be able to 1-2 Shevchenko like she did to Viviane. Shevchenko, you look at her fights at 3 times the speed. She doesn't move, dude. She stays in the spot. Amazing distance control, and she just waits for you to miss so she can counter you. So yeah, pass fight all around for me. Nothing I really like. What about you?
Yeah, Shevchenko, one of my favorite fighters in the sport. One of the most hated on fighters by all the people who don't know what martial arts is. Shevchenko's one of the best women's fighters probably the best women fighter of all time, in my opinion. But yeah, she's a great fighter. She's going to dominate, I think. I don't really think Grasso's the girl to do it. This is kind of similar to how I broke down Holly Holm versus Vieira. It just reminds me of it. I said the only way Holly Holm loses this fight is if she's completely washed. And she was completely washed. I don't think Valentina is completely washed. The only way Valentina loses this fight is if she's completely washed. Because what's Grasso going to do? Win the boxing exchanges? No. I mean, that's all she's got, right? She's basically drawing dead on a transitional submission. That's really all she's got, like a transitional armbar or something if they get into a clip. I mean, I don't think she's going to win. And then I actually like the overs, like you mentioned it, because someone posted on Twitter, yesterday or something, and I agree. I don't know who it was, but it just came up on the timeline. I agree with it. If you're playing the over, you're basically fading the Valentina crucifix, which I kind of agree with. Maybe a crazy head kick or something. But I think Valentina wins probably by decision or late stoppage. So yeah, that's my prediction, man. Valentina decision. So I do like some of the overs at plus money.
Yeah, we essentially agree. It's just I don't want to risk it. From tape, it literally seems like it comes out of nowhere, and that's the worst way for me to lose my money. Alrighty, we've got about 6 or 7 minutes to discuss this one. I'll let you take it away, mate. I'm just gonna go put some pants on. Just so I can get out of here as soon as the podcast is over, but I'll be listening. Take it away, mate. John Jones, Cyril Gane, the fight that we're all here for.
Yeah, so I did a 30-minute breakdown on this fight, in-depth technical breakdown. If you want to go and watch it, you can do on my YouTube channel, Lucrative MMA. So I'll keep this one short and sweet. I think I'll try and finish it before Steve puts his pants on. I think Cyril Gane's going to win this fight. John Jones has been away too long for my liking. There's lots of unknowns in this fight, right? We know that. Many, many unknowns. But what we do know is that John's been away from the octagon for 3-4 years. When he was last in the octagon, he didn't look great against Dominic Reyes, against Thiago Santos, even against Anthony Smith, he didn't look perfect. So he's not only been away for 3 years, but he's also been away for 3 years. And 3 years ago, he didn't look great. He looked like he was declining. He's 35 years old now. On top of all of that, he's moving up to heavyweight, which is the biggest weight class jump between any weight class, the biggest weight jump between any weight class. And he's fighting a guy who's Cyril Gane, who is, much bigger than him naturally, much more muscle mass, much bigger frame. And we've seen what happens when John fights someone his own size, big 6'4", 80+ inch reach. He tends to struggle a little bit more than, his other fights when he's fighting shorter guys. So for me, man, I think Cyril Gane's the more technical striker. He's the better fighter. And I think he's probably going to win the fight just based on all the intangibles. I will say, though, one disclaimer is that John Jones has the X factor. So that means he's one of the greatest fighters of all time, right? And what that means is that he can pull things out of his arse, basically. When he's 2-0 down against Reyes, he can win the next 3 rounds. When he's 2-2 going into the championship rounds, he can win the 5th round and take down DC in that fight. He can do these things because he's one of the greatest fighters of all time. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to be enough for Cyril Gane. John has to make it dirty here. He has to clinch. He has to get takedowns. Can he do it? Maybe. I'm going to err on the side that he doesn't do it for 15 minutes. He's just going to tire himself out. John Jones is not an amazing wrestler by any means. But he's talking a lot about wrestling, so maybe he's got better. But yeah, I think Cyril Gane's going to win this fight. And someone saying any thoughts on fight doesn't go to decision. If I'm favoring Cyril Gane, I'm favoring decision just because Cyril Gane is a decision machine for heavyweight. And John Jones has one of the best chins of all time and probably one of the best hearts. So yeah, Cyril Gane via decision for me.
Alrighty, I hate to say it, but I agree with you again. I did bring you on the podcast because I noticed that you don't mind disagreeing with people when they bring you on instead of all that nice rubbish. But yeah, unfortunately, we agree on everything. So yeah, this is a no-brainer for me. I'm going to try agree with you without regurgitating what you said and maybe say it in 5 minutes so I'm not late. But yeah, the moving up, right? I see a lot of people saying he's going to get wrestled. They're using that Ngannou example. Ngannou, I played him there by decision. Yeah, you can say it was a bit of a stupid play, but he hit. Can't say I've seen the wrestling coming, but that guy's a natural heavyweight that cuts to 265, right? Ngannou is the same guy that out-wrestled Stipe in their rematch, right? So saying getting wrestled by Ngannou is a red flag. That guy's an absolute mammoth. And if you actually tape Jones's fights, like I only taped from Gustafsson onwards because I know the guy well. Like I was growing up with him. He knocked out my favorite fighter in Shogun. I hated him since then. I was right. I saw right through his fake Christian crap. Then he started doing coke, and then I started liking him. And then I was like, all right, as long as I was right about him being fake, that's all that matters. And I reckon he was still past his prime in the Gustafsson rematch, and he went 0 for 5 in the first round for takedowns. Right, his wrestling's not all that, man. Like, yes, he took down Kenan and whatnot. He does have amazing wrestling, but it's just later on in the career, like he got stuffed every single time. And I think Gustafsson was past his prime then too. And he absolutely destroyed his nuts with if you know about Gustafsson's injury, like his balls went into his stomach or something. He needed him so badly with the low blow. That was his excuse anyway. But yeah, and then you watch the Anthony Smith, took him down a couple of times, but Anthony Smith is a turtle. He just withdraws into his shell when he's losing. Horrible heart, lion heart, supposedly. Like, durability is good, but he just kind of falters in there. And a lot of cage push there too, right? More than any takedowns. I can't remember if he took Santos down, but I remember a lot more cage push. Dominic Reyes finally got some takedowns, I think in rounds 4 and 5, when you could see him actually go for him. He was on his knees, not just bending over at the weight. He goes, I needed to get a takedown. Otherwise, I'm going to lose this fight. I'm going to lose my title. And even then, Reyes worked his way back up. Reyes is not all that. As we've seen, unfortunately, he did have a good performance then. And that was moving up, 2 years off. Now he's going to supposedly wrestle Gane, who, is a natural 240-pounder, 245, one of the most athletic guys I've seen in my entire life. This guy's a once-in-a-lifetime athlete. He's essentially the only guy to beat Ngannou, right? Minus one mistake
Yeah.
with the heel hook, which you love, you absolutely love. Reliving that every time. What I love reliving is that decision against John Jones when I had Reyes decision at $12. So we both have our own bad things to tape in this fight. Yeah, it's just they both have their advantages. They stay on the kicking range. Now Jones has to go kick for kick with one of the best kick for kickers and the most athletic heavyweights. He usually has the speed advantage, but I reckon Gane is going to be a lot faster than him. Gane is a lot faster than Anthony Smith, even Gustafsson, even Santos. Santos loads up, but he's not that fast. He's explosive, but Gane is super fast. Very athletic guy. After tape, I did notice a bit of the X factor that you mentioned. So it's like, it's like it's John Jones. You can see that he just pulls wins out of his ass even when he's losing. And Gane likes to, fight kind of close. He's doing nothing than jabbing and stamping on the knee for the first few rounds until he gets reads. And a lot of these heavyweights kind of get tired out and fall apart. I don't know if Jones is going to do that, but you have to accept some regression after a few years off and putting on that much weight. Right, you have to. He's not going to be the same. No one's ever moved up in weight and looked the same. Or even GSP when he came back against Bisbin, he gassed out. He goes, I'm lucky that I landed that finish because I was really, really tired and I really hated the weight that I put on for that fight. So yeah, I've got 5 minutes. That's pretty much it. I've only got half a unit on Gane just because I'm aware of that X factor. I've actually got the over 2.5 parlayed with the over 1.5 in the Grasso, like a very square overplay, but I would rather play the over here. I think both these guys are going to stare at each other kick. If Jones tries to wrestle, I think it's going to gas him out even more. I mean, the last 3 or 4 fights, he hasn't had any success at lightweight against regional, not good guys. And now he's fighting one of the best heavyweights in the division, bar Francis Ngannou. So yeah, I'm there with you. I got the best line, 240. It moved back the other way, so I think people are seeing what we're seeing finally. I was really surprised that this much money was coming on Jones for this long. I think the horrible pictures of him have finally swayed people. But yeah, we agree, man. We agree. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
No, just kind of annoying that we literally didn't speak about any fight other than the Basharat fight of all 14 fights. And it looks like we agree on every single one. It's kind of annoying, but whatever.
Well, you favor Barriault, I favor Marquez, I guess, but I think that's more of just like a line thing.
I didn't play. Did I pick Barriault? Yeah, I picked him, but I didn't play him. Like we don't have any strong opposing takes, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't pick. I refuse to pick. And when people come on this podcast asking me for a pick, I'm like, it's a gambling podcast, bro.
I know what you mean. I hate that, but I just do it anyway because everyone always wants it.
You got it. Yeah, you got into a habit. You got a big audience, so you got to keep them happy,
Whereas,
I don't care. Nah, jokes. I do care about my audience. Anyway, let's do a best bet. I don't know if you do best bets. I do 2 of my favorite bets that I've made. I know you got a touting service, so obviously I understand you don't want to give your best bets for free on a podcast when people pay for them. So I'll do mine, and then you just let me know if you want to do them or not. Obviously, I'll still finalize stuff tomorrow. What do I have at the moment? I've got Gane, Basharat, Ribovic. I haven't played Ribovic, but that will be a play. All right, I'm going to have to go Juice Boy. My favorite play is going to be Bo Nickel round 1. It has to be. There's nothing else here that's like, when you look at a bet and like, I want this bet, that's the only bet that I feel like that. The rest is like, I'm just playing value. I'm playing value on Gane. Yeah, let's go all out. Yeah, so Bo Nickel round 1, finish, right? It could be over in the first 2 minutes. Still value at minus 200. And Gane, I'm going to go with Gane. It's a main event. Everyone wants to see the main event. So $2.40. I got the best line that was available on Bet365. But yeah, what about you, mate? I understand you. If you don't want to talk about it, it's all good. Let me know.
Yeah, I've got a tout service, so I'm not going to say.
Yeah, fair.
No, I'm joking. Joking, bro. I don't care, bro. No, I got many bets. It's fine, bro. I'll give out a couple. Viviane Araujo, I'll go with her. She's underdog plus 100. I think she's going to win the fight. It might be like a close one when people moan, but I don't know. That's
one of your favorites?
She's got a lot of advantages, man. I bet a lot of big plus monies on this one. So, like, to say my favorite, it's still going to be a plus money. But I'll give the guys some solid returns. Not going to be giving a minus 200 Bo Nickel round 1s, man. Come on, We'll give him plus 100 Viviane
Hey,
Araujo.
I'm giving my best bet. You know, so some people have good best bets, some people have shit best bets.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll see how it goes on the Saturday. But Viviane Araujo, Araujo money line, and then I really like the over 3.5 in the Valentina fight. You know, if you want to be more safe, 2.5, 3.5 is plus money. If you want to be more safe, 2.5. So yeah, those two I'll go with.
Nice, man. Nice. Two bets that I'm really scared to play. But yeah, I wish you the best. I hope you hit them. Usually when we have when I do the best bets, my best bets usually hit, and my guests' best bets usually hit. So hopefully people can cash in on both of those from listening to us. It was great. I love them now. Then. What was that?
I'll double up on those bets now. Then.
Yeah, that's it, bro. Just parlay them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to stay and talk about PFL and Cage Warriors, but I got to be gone in literally right now. Thanks for joining, man. If you want to plug anything, I think a lot of people know about you already.
Yeah, just follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, Lucrative MMA. My website is lucrativemmabetting.com. All my official picks and stuff on there. That's it, Mo. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you inviting me on, and we'll do it again in the future.
It was a pleasure, dude. I thought me and you discussing fights would be good. Yeah. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. And thanks to all the audiences. If you haven't subscribed, I've got a lot of Twitter followers, but it hasn't translated to a lot of Big Brain MMA podcast followers. So I know you're following me for a reason, so subscribe to the podcast, please. Other than that, good luck with your picks and have a good one.